Where to?
Land's End, please.
800 miles away.
Don't you start.
What's your name?
Tom.
Hello, mate, you alright?
What are you doing out at this time of night? You're coming home with us. Tom's travelling.
For my wife.
Well, I hope you make it.
We should have gone home when you asked me to.
I was at the Zurich Film Festival. This is about 5 years ago now, I think. About 5 years ago at the Zurich Film Festival, with another film, a film called Finding Your Feet that I was in, and a director, Gillis McKinnon, who I was aware of, I'd never met him, said, Tim, I'm pleased you're here. I've got a script for you I want you to look at. He said, I think it's not a part that would be immediately what people might think of, but I've seen you in some things recently, and I think this is the thing that might interest you. He said, don't be put off by the age of the character.
Okay, and what did you like about the story? What captured your heart and you said, yeah, I want to be a part of it?
Well, I read it and I loved it immediately. I loved it immediately. I thought the story was fantastic. I love the combination of of inner strength this character has and physical frailty. How this is a story of love and loss and closure, of somebody doing something they are compelled to do that they never thought they were going to do, and to a plan that they had before, which was going to be a trip down memory lane. It becomes an odyssey of closure. And also a man who is ill and at the end of his life, who is ready, in a sense, to face the end of his life, having to lay the ghost of these things he needs to do in his life, but also in the process of ending his life, coming back to life, experiencing his own country that he hasn't been in, a new version of the country that is surprising to him, mostly for good, sometimes for bad. So that's what appealed to me. I thought it was a fantastic mixture of a simple story about a man, an old man, having to do something to die peacefully on behalf of him and his wife, and also a snapshot of a modern UK. Well, I waited a long time because, like all independent films, they take ages to get the money together. They get a piece here, a piece there, and then somebody pulls out, and it falls out, and somebody comes back in. So that took some time, and then also that took time, and the director became unavailable. I then became unavailable because you can't wait forever. Then we got the money. We were just about to start, and then it collapsed, and then we got the money again, and bang, we did it. This is the story, I'm afraid, of probably 95% of all independent films. They are a struggle and a love affair, a love-hate affair of trying to get the money together to get them made, and then getting the availability for people that, you want to do it.
And how did you personally prepare for this role as
I'm 64, I'm not 90. I'm an actor who has spent all of their life looking at people, and I invariably don't play me. I always try to play the person I'm playing. So whether they be 90 and frail and having experienced the adverse effect of gravity on their physique, what goes on inside there emotionally, how that informs them physically, what the difference is between their inside spirit and their physical attributes. and to try and understand that and become that. That's how I always approach what I do. I don't try and say, oh, I'll just play me, and then hopefully it's, to me, the character is always the more important. So you use your imagination, you observe. You know, for instance, I remember as a kid seeing old people in the street kicking things out of the street. You think, what are they doing? What is that? Why is that old man kicking that piece of paper? And then as I got older, I realised that piece of paper to a young person is a piece of paper. To an old person, that's like an oil slick that you could fall over. It becomes a mountain. You know, when you're crossing the road and you step up on the pavement, you know, to a young person, this is a pavement. To an old person, you sometimes see them looking, that becomes like the Eiger. That becomes like Mont Blanc. You know, it's like, shit. You know, you can't, it's not like a paving stone, because you think, if I fall over, I don't fall over, I go to hospital, I break my hip, A, I can't walk again, or B, I never come out of hospital. So it's perspective. So you have to think, what is that perspective feeling like when you have a strong will, but a physical case, physical thing to carry you around in, you know. So Gillis is one of those guys who is a practical director, but a deep thinker. He thinks a lot, you know, a lot about what he's doing here. He thinks, you know, in and out of the character, what it is, what we're trying to achieve. So he and I had a very good relationship. We wouldn't waste time talking about things round and around, and we rehearsed a little bit. But we both knew instinctively what we were trying to do. He wasn't sure, because the elephant in the room was he never really discussed with me the age. And then in the costume fitting, the day before we were about to shoot, he said, Tim, so what we're going to do? And I said, I've been working on it. And I put the costume on. And I showed him. And he said, oh my God, thank God for that. All of a sudden, there was the character. There was this old man, you know. So that was, you know, as I said, I'm not young. I'm getting on, but I'm not that old. But so that was, you know, any film is it's a collaboration. Everybody who came on playing, there's lots of characters in this. We would say to them, you know, each one of these characters is important as the other. These are all, you know, and each one of those characters has a beginning, middle, and an end. They all have a function. They're not just characters that they don't have their own story. They're all vignettes, you know. They all bring their own little chapter, which add to Tom's journey, you know. So it was a great experience. Quick, you know, because it's an independent movie. We had like 5 weeks, you know, to do this in so many different locations and making parts of Scotland look like Cornwall. We had 16 different buses, you know. So it was, you know, it was a long days and arduous and a lot, as I say, but, you know, we did it, you know. We did it, and you know, you'd never know we were in a hurry because it has a nice, gentle pace, you know.
So that brings me to the next question. You also have credit as a producer of this movie.
Yeah, I mean that comes more out of the fact that I'd stuck with it such a long time. You know, that I'd committed to it and stuck by it for 3 years. And waited, and then had a little bit of influence, not much discussion afterwards. I didn't have any control over the edit. That was very much Gillis's thing, but we did discuss the music and so on and so forth, and he showed me an early cut. But that's mainly to do, often actors get a kind of executive because they've actually stuck with the project, and sometimes they raise the money on your name because they need someone who is done stuff, so people can say, oh yes, I know who he is here. So you become a part of the production, as it were, you know.
What is your most uncomfortable
I think it might be to do with a moment of insanity when I sat next to and I was about 15, I sat next to a man who I didn't like the look of him. It was something about him. There was this strange shape to him, and then I didn't want to look at him. I was quite young. I must have been about 11 or something. And I looked at him. Oh my God, that's me when I'm old. It was a really freaky moment. I thought, oh shit, because he was really weird looking. Strange story, but that's true.
Watch me smile, I can make it last for miles and miles.
Are you going somewhere?
Far, far away.
That sounds exciting.
There's a train right back. Stay, honey, watch me smile.